Genshin Impact has added a number of characters over the course, each playing either a major or minor role both in the story and gameplay. As a result, some characters have become travelers' favorites, while others are less popular. And this is what we will examine more closely today. Hi guys, my name is Qiqi. Welcome to your YouTube channel. I hope you guys are doing well. Today there is a somewhat different video which I have already announced before. The question arose as to which characters you guys like or dislike. I posed this question to my friends and the community. Unfortunately, I received some responses on this matter, which we're going to take a closer look at. Just an important reminder, please be respectful toward each other. Remember, it's just a game and there are individual and personal opinions, obviously. The order is not based on popularity, but on when each response came in. I hope you guys will enjoy it, and let's begin with the actual video. We will start off with which character do you traveler like the most? And our first candidate is Yoimiya.
My name's Yoimiya.
Yoimiya is a cheerful and vibrant pyro role user who is also the owner of the Naganohara fireworks. Travelers often associated with her colorful fireworks, especially during the summer. She truly shines like a star inside and outside. I think that her second story quest made travelers love her even more, which I still have to play. Our Yoimiya appreciator is Yoimiya, who is their person with a banner 5-star in their first main. They love her personality. She's cheerful, happy, and always full of energy. She kind of reminds me of Mulan, and I think Mulan and her would get along very well with each other. They love her design, so different and amazing looking. That's a confirmation. Having her second story quest made me love her even more. So I think the second story quest was indeed very moving. Second, Xiao.
Adeptus Xiao.
Xiao is a reserved yet caring animal speak user and the last surviving Yaksha known as the Alatus, who once vanquished evil spirits in Liu. Despite his tragic past, Xiao has grown thanks to Morris, his friends, and the Traveler. He even promised to be there for the Traveler whenever needed. Xiao has truly a very sad past, and he too is trying to accept the past. I think both of them agree with me on this one, since they really like his lore. Relics also really likes his skill with the high jumps and his dashes. Like the choo choo choo. On the other hand, Snow thinks that he's a very demanding character and could do decent damage even when giving the best weapons and artifacts, which is, I think, a general issue with anime characters. Don't get me started on the RNG system. Third, Sangonomiya Kokomi.
I am Sangonomiya Kokomi.
Sangonomiya Kokomi is a determined and responsible Hydro Catalyst user. The young divine priestess of Watatsumi Island and Sangonomiya clan descendant manages the island's affairs along with Goro, striving to bring hope and happiness to her people. Oh, I remember the harsh time with Kokomi and the backlash. That was crazy. Which our Kokomi appreciator Anna also addresses. They pulled for Kokomi during her first banner when she got vast amount of hate. Oh yeah, she truly did receive a lot of hate. Sadly, that's the diversity of opinions and games. For Anna, it all felt unjustified. Their decision was some sort of a protest against everyone who tried to discourage them from pulling her back then. To this day, they adore her overall design, playstyle, and personality. She's their love and their baby, and they even own a little child with her image. It really is adorable. I also think that her color palette is very beautiful, and it's very nice to see that she receives the proper love. Fourth, Kamisato Ayaka.
Kamisato Ayaka, present.
Kamisato Ayaka is the younger sister of Kamisato Ayato and a dignified cry sword user. She oversees the Kamisato clan's affairs, internal and external. Despite having few friends due to breaks of the past, she's actually known for her beauty and grace. She's called the Shirazage Himegimi, which is translated to White Heron Princess, and is seen as a paragon of perfection in Inazuma. When I think of Ayaka, I always think of the scene when she was like performing the dance and like the fan in her hand. That was very beautiful. Speaking of this, Ayaka is Lars' second 5-star, and they pulled her as soon as she got released after their birthday, which I am sure was a very beautiful birthday gift indeed. They think that she has the most wholesome personality and that she's an elegant character. Yeah, I gotta give her that. Now on top of that, she carried through all my adventure ranks. Oh yeah, she was definitely a meta character, especially at this time. 5th, Xingqiu.
Xingqiu, at your service.
Xingqiu is an avid and ambitious Hydro Sword user. He's the second son of the Feiyan Commerce Guilds manager, is a self-taught Guhua arts practitioner, and a passionate reader. Inspired by the heroes in his books, he strives to embody chivalry, though his mischievous side often shows through. Xingqiu reminds me of the early days in Genshin Impact. That's true nostalgia. Our Xingqiu appreciated Mochi, got him on the 25th September 21. The appreciation is visible. They loved his design, character, and his playstyle, and they felt connected with their character more than any other one when they started playing. He's a bookworm that is into martial arts and fights for justice. Just gotta love him. First to get level 19, first to get triple crown, and not first to get C6, but we can look past that. Remember Mochi one day or day one. When he got his skin, I couldn't wait. In short, I like him quite a bit. That was really clear from your attacks, and I think that's super adorable. 6. Haitham.
I'm Haitham, the academia scribe.
Haitham is a somewhat carefree and curious standard sport user. He is a member of the Sumer's Academia's Haravatat and the Academia Scribe, records their findings and writes policies. Although he has the potential, he doesn't seek a higher position. Instead, he is always in pursuit of the truth, striving to answer questions long beard, and he doesn't beat around the bush and comes straight to the point too, as he did with Paimon. Rosa and TK like him a lot because in short he's a great character, both lovers and in the game. The abilities combine well with other elements. Oh, and his appearance. There's nothing better than his appearance. And Rosa doesn't want to forget his husband either. Kabe, don't worry, we got you. Haitham also impressed me back then during the time in Sumeru. I find his story very interesting and intriguing, and he was very nice to me as well. If you want to know why, then feel free to check out my video. Very discreet indeed. 7th. Qiqi.
I am Qiqi, a zombie.
I know, Qiqi has ruined some 50-50s for some travelers, but you gotta listen to me. Qiqi is a sweet and shy crier sword user. Unfortunately, back then, she got caught in the crossfire between demons and adepti after trespassing the realm and tragically met her death. However, an adeptus brought her back to life, albeit with some initial consequences. Eventually, she was taken in by Baiju and now works as an apprentice and herb gatherer at the Bubun Pharmacy. I personally didn't really know her story, except for the fact that she's like some sort of zombie, but when I did figure it out, it made me really sad. And I'm happy there are travelers who are also appreciating Qiqi such as Silver. Qiqi is their main since they started playing, and she has always been the best healer that they own. There are better options, but she's the best as a mainly free-to-play player. Her character design is adorable, and the fact that she's the only character zombie in Genshin is very fun. I think that's really interesting too, like the whole zombie story. It's quite mysterious. Since it kind of goes against the laws of nature, I'm surprised the Celestial did not yet knock on the door. 8th. Furina.
Most beloved star, Furina.
Oh, Furina. It hurts. Furina is truly a brilliant Hydro Sword user. Although she welcomed us as an arrogant and overconfident Arcane and Fontaine, it turned out that this was just a part of her persona, and she played a major role in deceiving the Heavenly Principles along with Focalor, the successor of Ujiria, and that for 500 years. After a long hiatus, she later used these brilliant acting skills to work as an actress and artistic consultant. It was quite a slap in the face when the whole secret about Furina's authority was revealed. And very painful too. And Panabek utterly confirms that it's their favorite character, their little princess, the only big character, and they just love her. And she definitely deserves this love. I'm very happy that this has taken a better turn. Finally can become the person that she always had to conceal. 9th. Dehya.
My name's Dehya. I'm the merc you hired.
Dehya is a fierce and beautiful pirate claymore mercenary among the Eremites, also known as a flame main. Despite the saying, the higher payment begets the new boss, which makes her sound like someone who loves money, she actually uses that money to donate to charity. With Dunyazad once being one of her clients, Dehya was even willing to sell her blade to contribute to the revival of the Sub-Zero's festival. If it weren't for a kid, I think that Dehya would have been a very highly anticipated character back then. And I think that Crystal Shannon also echoes the same sentiment. Those were quite a few characters already. And it was also really interesting to read about the reasons why travelers like their character. But now let's turn the tables. Which characters do travelers like less and why? Number 1. The Wanderer.
You want me to introduce myself?
The Wanderer is an unpredictable and cynical anime catalyst user. Born as a vessel for the Gnosis, which his body couldn't handle, he had to journey alone. Known by various allies due to his painful past, he soaked the heart, believing it would make him complete. Although he instigated many dark deeds as a harbinger, he was ultimately used as a tool. Eventually, he learned the truth about his past from Nahida and began to change his path. John pretty much dislikes Wanderer for following reasons. They just can't stand him, absolutely hate his personality, he is arrogant and cringe for no reason. It's just a fat experiment. That was rough. I can understand the mixed feelings about Wanderer. Although he had a rough past, he also stepped over others to accomplish his goal in the past. He was definitely someone who didn't know how to handle his emotions. And on top of that, he couldn't even grasp how he could have feelings without having a heart in the first place. But he's in the path to improvement. And I think the story in Simolanka confirmed it once again. Not asking for forgiveness, but that his apology might be accepted in future. Number 2, Noelle.
My name is Noelle, maid of the Knights of Favonius.
Noelle is a sweet and dependable Qiqi claymore user. She is known as the maid of all maids within the Knights of Favonius, with many believing she has the ability to take on many roles at once. Her stubbornness often leads her to risk her own safety unnecessarily to help others. Despite her repeated attempts to join the ranks of the Knights of Favonius and fulfill her dream of becoming a knight, she has yet to succeed. Oh, that reminds me of the beginner's wish banner back then. Valix and Rosa both dislike Noelle. However, both opinions differed between lore and gameplay. On the one hand, Valix thinks that her kit is not really fun and annoyed them at the beginning of Genshin with the high cooldowns. Meanwhile, Rosa dislikes Noelle for her personality and her design. The level of annoyance she awakes inside Rosa is amazing. I can kind of follow along with it. It's definitely the exaggerated shyness portrayed in the game, which is common especially in anime. Beginner characters were quite a thing. It's funny what kind of teams we formed back then. Number 3, Keqing.
I am Keqing.
Keqing is an ambitious and workaholic electrosword user. From a young age, she has dedicated herself to her work. Her hard work has paid off as she now serves of the Yuheng and the Liu Qixing. But she also imposes her strong work ethic on others, which can be challenging. She firmly believes that people should not rely on the archons adepti and are capable of managing everything on their own. She also used to disdain her vision in the past, but she changed her attitude and began to appreciate its value, especially its utility. I think I've seen Keqing more often than any 5-star that exists on my screen. Anna thinks that people used to always make fun of Ayaka for having a big forehead, but they generally don't know why nobody noticed what a human Gusarus forehead Keqing has. She has an annoying personality, hiding the fact that she's a Geus Arkansas, ridiculous animations where her booty shows whenever she attacks, and pesky voice. She also ruins people's 50-50. Oh yeah, I truly resonate with the 50-50. I gotta admit that I find the booty animation kind of funny. Anna, I hope your next 50-50 won't be ruined by Keqing again. Number 4, Dottore.
Call me the Doctor.
Oh, Dottore, a very complex character. Dottore, also known ironically as the Doctor or Sunday, is the second of the 11 Fatui Harbingers, with powers comparable to those of a god. He is a ruthless and fanatical scientist who strives to create a human that equals or even surpasses a god. He will stop at nothing to achieve this, even if it means walking over corpses. He lacks any ethical or moral compass, conducting countless experiments on children and the elderly, researching ways to weaponize forbidden knowledge, and seeking methods to utilize dreams in Sumeru. To expand his knowledge, he went so far as to clone himself multiple times at different ages. However, he had this entire project eradicated in exchange for the electrognosis. He is so cunning that he even managed to persuade the goddess of wisdom to trade, convincing her to exchange the dendrognosis for knowledge. There has been piled up a lot of feelings regarding his whole personality. So very much you both dislike him, to say the least. Mochi said that Dottore is a good written bad guy. They're not one to hate a character unless they are actually a bad person, so it makes sense that they don't like him. They think that his character is a bad guy with some dark backstory and an evil personality with no more behind it. Character written to be disliked, so it makes sense to do so. So we cut it short in saying that they just don't like Dottore, that this is pretty self-explanatory. territory. All I can say is that he is a very well-written bad character in my opinion. An image of evil deeds, and there are no hard feelings involved either. I really wonder what happens next the next time we will encounter him again. Number 5. Dori.
I'm Dori Sangama Bay.
Dori is an electroclimber user and a cunning merchant whose eyes light up at the sight of Mora. She has anything you need as long as the payment is high enough. Her love for Mora began when her sister needed expensive medication they couldn't afford, leading Dori to vow to earn enough to protect her family's happiness. Dori owns the palace of Alcazar, designed by Kaveh, but part of it was destroyed overnight by the Withering, even though it was nearly completed. As a result, Dori decided not to continue the project despite Kaveh having invested all his wealth in it. With no other option, Kaveh had to take out a loan from Dori, which she took advantage of, and the palace was rebuilt. I don't know what I should say about this. Understandably, Lost think that she's a little street rat, also robbed beloved Kaveh of his dreams. Period. I personally don't understand Dori's stoic demeanor in that regard. That was truly a cold-hearted move, considering the events that took place in her past. Lost also shot out of her backstory though. I gotta give that's truly sad. But still not acceptable, Dori. Number 6. Hu Tao.
Hu Tao.
Hu Tao is a lively and high-spirited pyre speak user. As the 77th director of the Wangshan funeral parlor, she was entrusted with funerals from a young age. Her eccentric behavior, like promoting grace cheerfully, often leaves a bad impression. Qiqi dislikes her because Hu Tao once tried to send her to her proper place, believing Qiqi should be at rest against Qiqi's will. After learning about Qiqi's past, Hu Tao's heart softened and she changed her behavior. Hu Tao is a talented poet, knowledgeable about adapti, and deeply values the cycle of life and death, taking her job and client satisfaction seriously. I mean, being a manager of some funeral parlor is really rough, and that since a young age. Like aforementioned, I didn't really know much about Qiqi's or Hu Tao's story, but the connection is deeply a sad one. Qiqi still greatly fears her, which is understandable. Interestingly, TK thinks that Hu Tao is pretty tricky in gameplay, requires a tricky HP management, dependent on specific support characters, needs her best weapon for her fullest potential and damage, and might not fit your playstyle, especially with new and better pyro characters to come, like Arlecchino. I have to admit that I also had the trouble with the support characters for Hu Tao, and I didn't really quit often with her burst either. But back then playing, I didn't really pay much attention to artifacts and critting and whatnot. TK also thinks that low-wise she's different and more extroverted than other characters, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. It's probably affiliated with her work as to why she can be a bit unhinged at times. But we gotta say her sprint animation is pretty nice. Number 7. The Raiden Shogun.
No salutations needed.
The Raiden Shogun is an electrospeed user. She is a fusion of two beings. A. The current Electro Archon of Inazuma, and the Shogun, a puppet created by A to govern Inazuma, while A mediated in the plane of Yoimiya. This puppet follows strict directives that are hard to alter. Having lost many loved ones, including her sister Makoto during the Cataclysm, A fears further loss. Her dedication to eternity made her wary of change. Indifferent to anything not affecting her pursuit of eternity, A viewed human ambition negatively due to its association with loss and suffering. The Wanderer was also originally a prototype designed by her to serve as a vessel for the Gnosis, but she abandoned him when he began to cry during its placement. It personally took a while for me as well to render a picture of Raiden, or A in general. Shannon also dislikes Raiden for following reason, as she got off way too lightly for what she pulled in Inazuma, and since then she just airs about eating desserts every now and then. Considering the arc quest in Inazuma, I also think that A acted somewhat selfishly, even though she wanted to protect her own people in her terms. Her fear of loss was so intense that she hid in the plane of Yoimiya. I don't think not just out of mere fear of erosion, but simply more from the fear of losing someone. This fear has deeply affected her and her people. I gotta give that the first story quest seemed quite bizarre given everything that happened in Inazuma, but she definitely showed remorse in her second quest. That's what I think at least. She's trying to gradually accept her people's achievements and atone for her sins. As the saying goes, better later than never. And those were today's assessments. It was really exciting and interesting. Got to learn more about some characters which helped me understand their story better, or even worse. A big thank you to everyone who contributed to this video. I really appreciate it. Let me know down below in the comment section which character you like the most or the least. That being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you so much, and I will hopefully see you next time. Bye bye YouTube. Bye bye.